Are you looking for a relaxing sew and easy make that is quickly done but still has a lot of zippers? And your customers, if you do sell bags, will probably love this bag as their everyday casual bag. This is the Simply Squared Crossbody bag with plenty of zippers, enough space for your essentials, and it's done in a short amount of time. So let's have a look at the details together. This is the bottom. It's perfect for a contrast fabric, and the top stitching looks really pretty. On the front you do have a zipper pocket. These are the side seams, and you have a zipper pocket on the back as well, and if you like to, you can add a zipper overlay. This was a first for me. I've just learned this technique and I wanted, like, why haven't I done this earlier? So this is the front pocket. You see how deep this is, almost until the bottom, and the center from the top is perfect to add your label or like any kind of detail. Let's open up the main zipper and look in the main compartment. You do have a slip pocket that you can divide if you like, and another zipper pocket because there are never enough zippers, right? So the top zipper is very slim. In this version, I've attached my D-rings to the top, and before you sew this bag, you would have to think about, do you want to add your D-rings to the top? Or would you rather add them to the side seams? So please decide before you start, as well as if you just like a regular zipper in the back, or if you would like overlay zipper on the back. But first, start with preparing our pattern. Please download the pattern, make sure it's the right format, because I provide my patterns in German, in English DIN A4, and English US letters. So make sure you have the right download. And then if you decide which format you need, make sure it's setting printers correctly and resize it to 100% or actual size. That's really important. And when you've printed out your pattern pieces, please check the box, the square on the pattern, if your measurements are correct. So now I will show you the pieces that I've already prepared and fused with my interfacings. So there you can see the front and the back and the bottom. And for this bag, I will make a zipper overlay to the back, zipper pocket. When you fuse your interfacings, fuse them without decophyllite. And since we're making a zipper overlay, there's no gap in the decophyllite for the back piece, which is different if you make a regular zipper in the back. If you like to, you can add some volume with some Pellon Thermolam or H630, but you don't have to. There you see the interior pieces, the main body with a slip pocket and a zipper pocket. And the zipper pocket panel E, you would only need one for if you make a zipper overlay. This is the front lining and the back lining for the pockets. So let's look at the pattern pieces when we do make a regular zipper pocket to the back. There you can see I fused some H630 to the back of my fabrics as well, on top of my decophyllite, and there I left a gap in the decophyllite and in the H630. You see the decophyll is on the bottom and the volume fleece is on top, and they're out of the seam allowance. So the pattern pieces E, the panel, are required twice in this case. There you see all the lining pieces again for the front zipper, for the back zipper, for the slip pocket, and the main lining pieces right here. And you do need some tabs for the D-rings and some tabs for the front pocket. We also need some zipper tape and some hardware. I suggest you to print out the material list so you can check if you have everything that you need to make this bag. So This is the front and the front pocket lining pieces and the tabs for the zipper. And this is where we're gonna start, because we will start with making the front. So therefore you would need a zipper that is 24 centimeters long, 9.5 an inch, and you thread a zipper pull to your zipper and fold the zipper tabs half in half and fold the edges to the center. Place the end of your zipper inside and fold over again and secure it with a clip. The end of the zipper is sandwiched in between the tab. So you fold them towards the center, place it inside and fold over again and secure. And then you will top stitch your zipper tabs. Right here. When this is done, you will mark all of your centers. So the front bottom, the front top, and the zipper, because you need to place the zipper centered on the front bottom piece. And everything should line up perfectly, so please mark the centers. So the zipper needs to close towards the left. That's important. We want all of our zippers closing towards the same direction. So we're making the front zipper pocket. It should close towards the left. Place it right side down on the front bottom piece and baste in place with the centers aligned. And then you will take the lining piece for the front pocket, place it right side down on top, and sew together with a 7mm 1/4 an inch seam allowance. Then fold the fabrics away and top stitch. Now you take the second lining piece, place it right side up in front of you, and place the other edge of the zipper on top and baste together. To attach the top, mark the center and align the front top with the zipper, right sides together, and sew this edge with a 7mm seam allowance, 1/4 an inch. Now this is really important now, because a lot of people did this wrong. We will top stitch on the inside right here. Do not top stitch on the front. We top stitch right here on the interior. So the seam allowance from the top front and the lining piece is together, and then you top stitch right here. Do not top stitch here as you usually would. Not on this project, okay? Fine. So now that is top stitched, you align the sides like this so that the zipper coil is on top. The zipper coil is on top, like upwards. It's not leaning against the back. It's not rolling towards the front. It's upwards. And then you top stitch. And to make this fit nicely, top stitch up and to the side over the top stitch until you get to the zipper. Right here, you see the place I top stitched a double, just a few stitches until I get to the zipper, and then I leave a long tail, and then you pull the thread. Oh, that's a tongue breaker from a German accent. You pull the thread towards the back and tie like 2 or 3 knots, and then you can snip off the long threads. Just leave a little tiny bit left because it's in the back. You won't see them anyways. So repeat on the other side as well. Tie your knots and cut off the ending of the thread. If you do this top stitching, the pocket in front will sit much nicer on your back. So when that is done, you will sew the lining pieces, the bottom edge, together with the 1cm 3/8 inch seam allowance, and baste the sides from the front pocket lining piece and the front together just like that. Now the front is done, but if you like to, you can add something like your label or something. I decided to add this cute little bow, and this is the time. If you want to attach something to the front, do this right now. Don't forget to fuse something above the back of your prongs, since we don't want to hurt the fabric on the inside. You could also use duct tape if you like. I've used some Deco-Fill-Lite on top. The front is done and we can start with the back. First, I'll show you how to do the back with the regular zipper pocket without an overlay. So place the panel E on top of the gap of your Deco-Fill-Lite, which is 5 centimeters, 2 inches from the top, centered. You place them right sides together and use some pins or needles, whatever you need to attach it, and then sew within the rectangle. Do not sew over the Deco-Fill-Lite. And if your rectangle is sewn and the two pieces are connected, you cut the center line, but not all the way to the edges, to the corners, because your line will end into V-shaped, cutting as close into the corners as possible without hurting the seams. So be careful not to cut into the seams, but as close as you can. And then you can put your fabric, your E panel, facing, no, it's a facing in English. You push the E facing through the hole so that the fabrics are wrong sides together. If you want to make a zipper overlay right afterwards, I will show you how to do this because we will have a totally different approach. So press your fabrics that everything stays in place and prepare your back zipper lining pieces. You need a zipper which is 23 centimeters long, 9 inches long, and it closes towards the left, okay? And both pieces are right side up. And then you fold the fabric away from the zipper, so now the zipper is closing towards the right. You will place the gap on top from your back piece, from the main fabric, and align it to the sides from the E facing piece. And then you will stitch a rectangle around the zipper, making sure everything's straight and stays in place. When that is done, you will fold the fabric up and then sew the lining pieces, the side and the top edge, with a 1 centimeter 3/8-inch seam allowance, like this. And just like that, the back is done. But now let's have a look how to make the back panel, the back piece, if you do want to add a zipper overlay. So right here, there's no gap in our fleece or Deco-Fill-Lite, and we will draw a rectangle 4.5 centimeters from the top edge. And you see the measurements on the screen, and in the pattern piece, you draw this rectangle centered on the wrong side of your back piece and cut through the fabric and the Deco-Fill and the fleece if you added any. And I use a rotary cutter, but for the corners I prefer scissors, since I tend to cut a bit too much with my rotary cutter. So now you have a nice sharp gap in there, and I fused some H250 on the back of my faux leather, since it's a bit wobbly and too soft. So you should stiffen this up a little bit and fuse it on the wrong side of your faux leather piece, and also cut the gap in the center out of your piece. And then you place this centered, both pieces are right side up, and you place it centers right above the gap. So take your ruler or anything to mark to where it's placed so that it's centered, and use some double-sided tape or some fabric glue to secure it. I did not have any double-sided tape because I don't like it, and I usually don't use it, and I never done like a zipper overlay before I started this project. So I just attached it with some masking tapes, but I do not suggest it because it's like hard to keep in place. And when that is done, you will stitch around the outer edge. You will top stitch, but you will leave long threads so you can pull the top stitch thread to the back and tie them together. This will give like a much nicer finish than locking your stitches. So we don't want to lock your stitch. You just top stitch close to the outer edge of the panel, stitch it on your back piece, pull the thread to the back, tie a knot and cut it off. And now we can make our gap in the back piece larger because we want to have our zipper attached easy, so the fabric is thin that where we are sewing the zipper in. So we will trim any decophyllite. It's really important when you trim off the fabric that you do not cut through the overlay zipper faux leather piece. Do not hurt it in any way, so go slow. This is sped up like a lot because we want to keep the video short, not too long. And as you can see, it does not have to be pretty from the back. Nobody will see this, right? Okay, so there's another hack I just figured out. Since it's much easier to attach our lining piece when it's 2 pieces instead of 1, we will cut this later on. But first, we need zipper which is 8.5 inches long, not 9, 8.5, or you can leave it at 9 and cut off the extra fabric in the end. And we sew this the same way that we did if we would not make like a zipper overlay. So we will attach it with a 7mm seam allowance. Okay, listen, the zipper needs to be closing towards the right, okay? Then we place this on top and secure it. So usually you would just fold up your lining piece so you can top stitch on the back because we do not want to close it, right? So to make this easier, I decided to just simply cut off the bottom of my lining pieces. I will show you what I mean right now. I align it, I thought about it, and then I just did it, and it's a lot easier. So just cut through. If it's folded like that, like exactly in the picture, then you don't have to trim any off later on. Then fold up the top, turn around again, secure this with double-sided tape or fabric glue, and top stitch your zipper in. I just did it like that because, like I said, I don't have any double-sided tape. I do not suggest it because the finish won't be so pretty as if it's like fixed correctly. Leave a long thread to start. Do not top stitch, okay? So just sew around the zipper. Make sure it's straight. Oh yeah, I did add some masking tape to the back, but then I rearranged it anyways. And then I realized my top stitching was shorter than a top stitching on the outer edge. But yeah, that's annoying to me when I see it in the end. I guess nobody else will see this, but I do see it. And since I told you, you will see this too now. But who cares? Move on, Sarah. Get over it. So top stitch around the whole zipper piece, and in the end do not top stitch. Go as close as you can to the starting point and then adjust the length of your stitching so that it's a closed rectangle. So your last stitch should end in the first one. This is not easy, but with a little bit of practice you can do this. Sometimes you're lucky and it's just working out like that. Sometimes you have to arrange your stitch length. And then leave a long thread so you can pull the thread to the back and again tie knots, a couple of knots, and then cut off any extra thread. Leave a little bit, but not too long because we do not want our zipper to be tangled up in the long thread, okay? So this will give the top stitching a nice finish, and it's much prettier than the locked stitches. You don't want to see them from the front. So I cut this off quite short, and now you can fold this back and close the side and the bottom edges with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, 3/8 inch, and your back pocket is done. That was easy, right? So the back is done. like that. But now, if you do want to attach your D-rings to the side seams, this is the time. But before we do that, we need them anyways, if we want to attach them to the top or if we want to attach them to the side seams. So we will prepare them now. So you need two tabs. They are 5 centimeters long or wide as 2 inches, and double the width of your D-rings. So my D-rings are 2 centimeters, so the piece is 4 centimeters. And then you fold the raw edges towards the center and top stitch, and then thread your D-rings on them and align the short ends. But you know how that goes, right? So they're top stitched. You thread a D-ring on there, align the short ends and secure them with clips and baste them together so nothing will move, okay? So if you want to attach them to the side seams, you need to add them 3 centimeters, 1 1/4 inches from the top edge to the side, and let them stand over for about 5 millimeters. It's like a 1/4 inch. I do want to attach them to the top, so I will show you this later. First, we will take care of our interior fabrics. To make the interior, we will start with the zipper pocket. So we have our E-panel. You only have one if you did the zipper overlay. If you did the regular zipper pocket in the back, you would need the second E-piece, and you draw the rectangle on the wrong side of the E-piece and place it 5 centimeters from the top edge, 2 inches, and centered, okay? 5 centimeters from the top edge, 2 inches from top edge, centered, wrong sides together, and then sew the rectangle that you've just drawn on the wrong side of the panel. When this is done, we will cut the center line and the 2 small V's. That is the same thing that we just did before with the back zipper, but in this case on the interior. If you do want to add a zipper overlay to the back from the interior, you could do that. That's really nice. Some testers did this too, and I really like the look. So that's totally up to you. It's your bag. You decide how this piece is going to end up, how it's going to look like, and what design this will have. So when the center line is cut, put your fabric through the hole and press it flat so everything stays in place. We will now prepare our zipper. Our zipper is 23 centimeters long, 9 inches, and thread a zipper pull on top. I'm confused with the 8.5 or 9. They're 9 inches, and if you have any zipper tape standing over, just cut it off. It's the same length as the lining piece. Place both pieces right sides up and sew the top edge with a 7 millimeter 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then you will attach the second lining piece in the same way. Right side up, zipper right side up, 7 millimeter seam allowance, 1/4 inch. And now pay attention, zipper should be closing towards the left. The fabrics are folded away from the zipper. Align the side edges from the linings, and the gap is placed centered above the zipper coil, and then top stitch a rectangle around the zipper. If you turn it around, you will see the interior of our lining, and you just fold it down and cut off any extra fabric from the bottom lining piece, and then sew the side and the bottom edges with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, but leave an opening. Leave an opening right here as large as possible, okay? There you see how I did it. Like, my opening is pretty wide, and we will leave 2 openings in this bag. Now we will make the other main lining piece with, we will make a slip pocket. So you fold the edges on top of each other and sew the sides and the bottom edges with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, 3/8 inch, but leave an opening to turn your slip pocket right side out. Trim the corners and then turn it right side out and give it a press. So the slip pocket is pretty wide. You can leave it like that if you like it like that. But honestly, I prefer to divide this because it's pretty wide. So it should not be like flapping around. Can you say that in English like that? So I will divide mine. It's up to you how you would like to do yours. So fold the seam allowance inwards and press it flat, and then top stitch the top edge. So place this 10 centimeters, 4 inches from the top edge centered on the main lining piece. And when you stitch it onto your main lining piece, you will automatically close the opening in the bottom. And like I said, I will divide this in the center. So I will make this in one stitch, and I will mark my center with some masking tape. You could also use some chalk or a fabric marker, but I prefer masking tape since you can just remove it. It won't leave any spots or nothing. You don't have to make it wet. You just rip it off, right? So I will sew up in the center, down again, and then continue my stitching. When that is done, you just mark the centers. I prefer snips, and repeat this with the other main lining piece. Mark the top and the bottom centers, and then place the two pieces right sides together, and then we will sew the side edges with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. If you use fabrics that are hard to turn, I would really listen up. I will show you how we will sew the bottom, or how we will not sew the bottom, because we just sew the sides. You can sew the bottom and leave an opening like this, and then sew the boxed corners like that. But try this. We will leave this whole bottom edge open, and later on when the back is done, we will put our hand through the opening in the zipper pocket and pull the bottom of the lining piece through, and then close the lining. Okay, so give it a try, it's worth it. And now let's assemble all of our pieces. So first we want to assemble our main fabrics. So you will take the back piece and the bottom and align the bottom edges and sew this with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, 3/8 inch, like this. And we will top stitch later, because first I want to attach the front piece in the same way. Place them right sides together and sew with a 1 centimeter, 3/8 inch seam allowance. When that is done, fold the fabrics like that and top stitch. So the seam allowance from the front and the bottom is folded towards the bottom, and then you top stitch a rectangle around the whole bottom piece. Looks pretty, right? And now will be the last time if you want to attach your D-rings to the side, but we will attach them to the front. So take your zipper. It's 32 centimeters, 13 inches long. You can leave this a little bit longer if you like, and trim off any extra that you want to have in the end. And this is how I do it. I know some people do it differently, but I prefer to put my zipper pull in there, and then we fold away the angle on a 90-degree angle. We fold the zipper tape on an angle. That's the right way to say it. And then I secure this with a pin. Make sure that they're both at the same height when you close the zipper. So compare this, place them next to each other. They're both the same height. Okay, fine. And then secure them with a couple of stitches. So all zippers should close to the same direction. So make sure when you put it to the front, that is closing towards the same direction, and make a marking align it 3 centimeters, 1/4 inch from the side edge. And I leave my zipper in there for now. And then 4 centimeters from the other side edge, which is 1/3 inches, I'll make a marking on the wrong sides on both my zipper tape sides. Okay? And then I will baste this on my front piece with the zipper attached, with the zipper pull attached. So this is how I simply baste it close to the edge, and in the end, when you get to the end marking on the wrong side of your zipper, you sew until you get to that marking, and then you pull the tape towards the left, and then continue your stitching. Stitch back, lock, done. Now you can separate your zipper, put the pull aside, and place the other half of your zipper to the back fabric in the same way, 3 centimeters, 1/4 inch from one side, until you baste until you get to the 4 centimeter marking, and then pull the end of the zipper tape to the side. So the zipper is attached. We can now close our side seams, our sides. So you place them right sides together. Like I said, if you want to attach them to the sides, do this before closing the side seams. And sew them together with 1 centimeter seam allowance, 3/8 inch. Make sure your zipper is not getting caught in your stitching. Now fold the box corners like that so that they are right sides together. Open up the seam allowance. And now this is important as well. We won't sew this with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. We will sew this with a 5 millimeter seam allowance, which is a little bit less than 1/4 inch, but it was really hard for me to translate 5 millimeters. So it's a bit less than 1/4. And like this, we won't have too much space next to the fall leather contrast, and I really like the look. So that is the reason why. So I want to attach my D-rings tabs to the top, so this is where you put them right now on the right side of your main body, to align it with the side seams, and let them stand over the edge for 5 millimeters, 1/4 inch, a little bit less maybe, so they won't be hanging out of our bag too much, because we're sewing the top edge with a 7 millimeter seam allowance, so otherwise there will be too much tab hanging out later. So when the tab is attached, we can attach our lining to our main fabrics. Again, make sure that the zippers are all closing towards the same direction. So put the lining pieces right sides out and place your lining inside your bag. So all zippers closing towards the same direction. So the zippered pocket is aligned to the back zipper pocket. And then the main and the lining pieces are right sides together. Make sure to put the end of the zipper, the top zipper, out of the way. It should not be getting caught in our stitching. And then align the whole top edge and secure it with clips. And work your way around the whole piece, and then you will sew the top edge with a 7 millimeter seam allowance. 1/4 inch seam allowance. So we can put our lining up, pull it out, and turn the bag right side out. And since we left the whole bottom open, it's quite easy to turn. And we will close this bottom seam right now, and I will show you how. Remember, we left the zipper pocket on the interior open, so we can grab through there. You can pull it out first if you like. Grab through there, grab the bottom, and just as much as you need to close the bottom. So we will place this right sides together. We have our markings on the center, align it, and then sew the bottom edge with 1 centimeter seam allowance, 3/8 inch seam allowance. Right afterwards, we need to close the boxed corners. So this is basically the same that we did before, just that we have two seams, one from the bottom, one from the side that we can align. And then we will sew them with a 5 millimeter, 1/4 inch seam allowance. A little bit less than 1/4 is nice, like the exterior fabric. And then you can put the lining back inside of your bag and close the opening in the zipper pocket from the interior. Therefore, you just fold the seam allowance inwards and top stitch. If you like a nice finish, of course you can do like a mattress stitch by hand. It's very pretty, but I am lazy. Come on, you do it like that too, right? This is a quick, relaxing sew, so we do it as easy as possible, okay? So simply top stitch, and then the opening is closed as well. We can place everything back inside, and then form out our top so that the lining sits nicely in our exterior. And then we will top stitch one round around the whole top edge, the zipper. And then we're almost done. We just need to attach our zipper pull and then trim off any zipper tape if you like. If you've chosen to cut a 32 centimeter long top zipper, you probably don't want to cut any, but this is longer, so I will cut off. And then I will attach a zipper end piece from AliExpress. I ordered them. And therefore, I will fold the zipper tape right underneath my zipper coil. You can use some fray check glue or anything as well if you like. And then you place the zipper ending on top. Then I punch like this needle kind of tool, I don't know what the name is. I punch a hole through my zipper so that the screw will find an easier way. And then I drop it like 1,000 times. So I've edited this part because this took so long. And then attach a screw and then test it if it's on there securely. And then you're done with the body of your bag. All there's left to do is make a strap. Surely you can make a strap from webbing. I prefer to make a strap from faux leather. I just have like enough I need for a 2 centimeter wide strap. And this is what I'm making. So I will cut my fabric faux leather and I will mark the center line. And then I will fold the raw edges towards this center line from both sides. And then fold over again, so you have 4 layers of faux leather on top of each other. And I secure this with clips. Of course, you can use double-sided tape if you like. I just use clips. And then I top stitch both sides. Then I will make some markings because I will use rivets for my strap. Therefore, I will make a marking for 2 rivets. So the rivets each are 1.5 centimeters apart and a 4 centimeter gap in between those 2 markings. And then I will punch some holes and attach the slider to it and secure it with 2 rivets. Having a rivet press is really nice. So if you use rivets a lot, I really suggest you to get a rivet press. It's so much better than hammering, making that much noise. I just really like this press. So now that our slider is secured with 2 rivets, of course you can do stitches too. You can sew this together as well. You will take the other end and thread a swivel clasp on that. Make sure it's not twisted, and then put the end of the strap through the slider again and attach a second swivel clasp. So I would usually make my holes before I attach it, but I decided to add a zipper end to it. So therefore I will take my zipper end and make two markings, or make two tiny holes with this. I think it's a is it a punching tool? No, it's not a punching tool. It's like a needle. You can make like tiny holes with this. I don't know what the name is. I'm sorry. This one. So I will put this on the end of the strap and make two tiny holes with it, and then attach two screws. These screws are really tiny. Of course, I will drop them before I attach them. I will drop them like 10,000 times and try to get them in there straight. So you better have some nerves before you work with them, especially if you have long nails like I do. But in the end, it always works out. Sometimes I do hurt myself, to be honest. But let's not talk about that. So I attach this with the screws and check if it's nice and secure, and then I will fold the end over and make markings on where I want to set my rivets. And then I will attach two rivets to secure the second swivel clasp, and then the strap is done. Yes, it's done. Can you believe this? This is really a really quick make. It's done in a short amount, and it's not like too stressful, right? Next pattern will be advanced again, like you know me. Of course I do advanced stuff, but this time I just needed a break for all of us. So I really do hope you've enjoyed this project. I hope you could work with this video tutorial easily, and that it's not too confusing, especially since English is not my foreign language, since you can hear from my accent. I'm from Germany, but I don't have a German accent, luckily. Yes, where was I? I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope you can make like a lot of them and sell them at craft shows or markets or for your online shop, or just make a new everyday bag for yourself, for your friends and family. I hope we can sew many more bags together. Check out my Patreon. It's called Sarah Mariam. You find me there. And check out the Sewcial Bagmakers on Facebook and join our community. I hope you come back and visit me. And thank you for buying my pattern or being a Patreon. See you next time. Have a great day.